first team principal casualty of the season already. Damon, Guenther Steiner out at Haas, Ayao Komatsu in. Big personality for Formula One to lose.
Certainly, and Guenther became a bit of a celebrity thanks to the famous Netflix series and the behind-the-scenes filming of him. And he's absolutely, as you said, a kind of huge character, very decisive, very confident, and very sure of what he's saying and stuff. Maybe this is part of the mix. You know, he wants to win. I don't know what the real reason is for the departure, but I mean, it's a big loss, I think, to the sport, because he was, fans liked him, he attracted people, he was controversial, he was outspoken, so maybe he didn't get the results that Gene Haas wanted.
Well, yeah, I mean, he was a good fit for Haas in that sense. Put a small team, not very successful one, on the map. Now listen, I've heard he was out of contract, Crofty, and he and Gene Haas had divergent views in terms of how they wanted to take the team forward. Well, what have you been hearing? Why have they parted ways?
Well, firstly, it's Gene Haas's team, and Guenther Steiner was getting the lion's share of the attention, and I'm sure that didn't go down hugely well with the team owner. But that's no reason to get rid of somebody. Their performance on track last year might have been part of the picture as well. Great on a Saturday in terms of the way that Nico Hülkenberg, for instance, managed to get into the top 10 in qualifying. But then part of the reason for their great qualifying performances undermines really their performance on the track on a Sunday. So they would go backwards through the field. And that, for an owner like Gene Haas, was probably not acceptable. Finishing bottom of the table, that's not what Gene Haas would want. So Guenther, I think, has paid the price for that. He has got other business interests, and I'm sure he'll be absolutely fine in that respect. But I'm with Damon on this. Formula One's lost a massive character, a very popular character, and someone who transcended the sport somewhat. He was, what, #3 team principal, I think, behind Christian Horner and Toto Wolff.
In terms of publicity and airtime and that kind of thing.
Exactly, and that's good for the sport, that fans want to associate themselves with a team like Haas because they really like what Guenther stands for, and that's like the underdog and taking it to the big boys. And I really think we have lost a great character around the paddock, and one who I hope returns in another guise somewhere in the future.
Okay, people have been telling me from sources inside the factory that there'll be a lot of disappointment that Guenther has gone. He didn't get a chance to say goodbye, by the way, which I think will disappoint him. And there was a little bit of a coterie picking up on what Crofty said there, that we're maybe feeding the line that, you know, why is Guenther releasing a book and getting involved in a US comedy series and doing all this Netflix stuff when the team are flatlining, I mean, flatlining at the bottom as well. But it's a big call. And if they're not going to provide extra finance to rebuild the factory and all that, well, you know, how is Ayao Komatsu going to do any better?
I don't know, and don't forget, Guenther was actually one of the masterminds of putting the whole thing together in the first place as well. With Gene, Gene was really the investor that he got him on board. If I'm correct, aren't I?
Yeah, you're
David,
right.
So you know, he actually, you could say it was his team, but he didn't own it. And as you said, he's getting a lot of attention and distractions. And you interviewed him before Christmas, and we were talking about his
Christmas lunch. It proved the last supper. It was the Last Supper.
The Last Supper. Yeah, well, anyway, he was talking about you know, this TV series that they're planning and stuff, and maybe that was too much for some people, because as a team principal, your primary job and your focus has to be on what you do. But it wasn't his fault that he was popular and he was became a celebrity. Yeah. So anyway,
Last thought on this. Apparently, Gene Haas is saying that this is not a signal I'm about to sell the team. I'm in it for the long haul. I don't even want big new investors. I'm happy controlling as it is. Where do Haas go from here, and how are they to take the next step, really, Crofty?
I don't know. Where do they go forwards? Well, I don't see how they do unless investment is made and that money is given to the team. They're not operating anywhere near at the limits of the cost cap. But you look at the teams around them. Sauber, they will become Audi in a couple of years' time. Williams have got their house in order and have risen now to 7th, and with the potential to go further there. AlphaTauri are more closely aligning with Red Bull and moving their aero design base to Milton Keynes in a bid to get further up the grid. And Haas are kind of, well, they're not doing the old adage, if you stand still in Formula One, you go backwards. They're not even really standing still. They're just not investing, and they've lost a real motivator and a leader of people in Guenther Steiner. And I wish Ayao Komatsu all the best, but can you honestly see a scenario at this moment that Haas aren't the team that will finish bottom at the end of the season.